I've been waiting to say this for a long time. What time is it? It's time for me to sit down with the legendary Morris Day. How are you doing today, man?
I'm good, doing wonderful, man. How you doing, man?
I am blessed, and you are very social media savvy. Because that's how we kind of connected. Because you talk about sports on your social media, always got me laughing. Being in the game for so long, like how soon or how quick did you get comfortable with social media?
Well, I can't say that I'm 100% comfortable to this day, but I just get by with what I can do. That's it.
Well, you definitely make it do what it do, and I'm glad we connected. I've been a fan of your work for years. I've been fortunate to be doing radio for over 20 years, but like my days of wanting to be an entertainer started with Morris Day and of course the Time and Prince, that whole movement. So instead of starting in the beginning, we got to go ahead and talk about what's going on with you right now. There's a few things going on. First things first, Last Call,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
perfect title. How'd you come up with it, and what was your decision to make this be the last album?
Well, we had kind of been operating, well, we are operating as a independent label. And kind of at the last minute, we hooked up with Universal
Hmm.
Music Group, and a guy named Paul over there, and of course Frank, and these guys came at us and they wanted to do a deal,
Hmm.
you know, and so we kind of had been operating like putting stuff out when we want to, and Paul Ring and Frank Hensley, but when Paul Ring from Bungalow Records came and wanted to do a deal, all of a sudden we're back on the schedule.
Yeah.
So they're like, guys, we got to finish up this record. And Frank Hensley over at Universal Music Group, he's like, we need to finish it up. So we're on the phone, and they said, okay, we got these songs. What are we gonna call the album?
Yeah.
And I just said, Last Call.
Mm.
And they're like, I love it. Everybody loved it. So next thing you know, we had to get with the team and come up with a song called The Last Call. So that all happened kind of at the last minute.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how that all came together.
So when we think about the album Last Call, your whole approach to it, like I mean, I see some of the people you have on the album, which is very legendary, and it's for sure. What was your idea to reach out to like an E40, a Snoop Dogg, Big Daddy Kane? Is that from connections of years of knowing them already, or you knew you want to do something a little bit different on this one?
Well, it's kind of that, some of them I knew. And, my manager, business associate, Courtney Benson,
Yeah.
is always tossing ideas at me. He's like, hey, we should get, so and so. And I'm like, hey, man, that sounds good. Let's reach out and see what they say. So it was kind of like that, us going back and forth creatively and just coming up with the names that would fit with certain tracks. And it just kind of all came together.
Yeah. And I think about Courtney, STL, St. Louis right there. So he's
You
had
know
that
it.
connection with the
You
hip hop
know
world as well. So he bridged that gap and it definitely came out right. Grown
it.
Man featuring Big Daddy Kane. I already told you that's one of my favorites on there. You know why, Morris.
Yeah. The opening line, not sending dick pics to your DM.
No,
That,
I was like, yo, he said it best. From there, I was already like, okay, we with this one because I can relate to that. You know what I mean?
right. Can't put your personal information out there like that.
No, no, you definitely can't do that. You definitely can't do that. And then I think about E40, who's going to be on one of our concerts coming up real soon, like In My Ride featuring Jazzy Faye. I think about that collab and just how smooth it sounds. Like, is this things that you guys did together, or did you send the track to them and they did it in their own studio? Because I know that's the way the world moves now.
Yeah, that's the way we move too. We had the tracks, we had the songs basically completed, and then we just left the slots open, sent them out, and they nailed it, man. E40 nailed it, Jazzy Faye nailed it, Big Daddy Kane nailed it, and just the professionalism, man. These are like you said, legendary guys, man, and
Yeah.
all you have to do, you don't even have to say anything, just send the track and let it speak for itself, and it came back the way it came back.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
came back hot. So we got
yeah.
Last Call. What does this say? If this is the last album, are we still going to see you touring, or is this something you may be saying, hey, the clock is running down on that as well? What is your future looking like when it comes to touring?
Yeah, good question, brother. I'm really contemplating, what the next move is. I know that realistically, I don't want to be on stage, for the next 15 years if I have that, because not to put the negativity out there, but brothers, it's not up to us how long we'll be around.
Right,
So
right.
anyway, I don't want to necessarily keep doing the same thing. This record took us the better part of 20 years because some of the songs we've been working on and just setting them to the side, and then like I said, last minute Universal Music Group came into the picture, and then we had to get in high gear to get it finished. But my point is, I kind of think this is my last album per se, or I don't know if I'm saying it right. I still call them albums.
Hey, no, we're gonna always call them albums.
Yeah.
Project, whatever they want to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever they want to say, man. But so I'm feeling like that's that. But not to say that I won't do some things like if the original members come around and they want to do something, that's different. But for me personally, on the solo tip, this is my last album. That's why I call it Last Call. We're going to tour this one through at least 24 and just, let it, marinate and have some fun with it. And then, just on to the next thing, whatever next, greatest thing, whatever that is.
Yeah, I know that's right. Now, from the project to also, let's talk about the book, On Time, A Princely Life in Funk. First of all, like just the way you phrase it, it just makes so much sense. It's you all day. How was it putting your story, like putting that pen to paper?
Well, that was an emotional journey, because a lot of that we covered, I probably really didn't plan on revisiting, It was just one of them things, I'm sitting with my co-writer, David Ritz, and we're riding through Northside, Minneapolis, and we're talking and, we having dinner and we're discussing this thing and just all of this stuff just kind of started to come up that I just really had buried, into the archives. And so it was real, it was a real journey. It was emotional, but it was real,
Yeah. And people should definitely get their hands on this book because I'm glad you brought that up out of being emotional because we're going back, you and Prince go back, we're talking what, high school? Days of that, right? And there's been times where I've seen you on social media where you were in the studio working on albums and you would show a picture where you were looking at his picture. You know what I mean? So people can say what they want to say or they don't understand the true relationship you guys had, but we knew something was special there. Like, how much of an impact did he have in your life?
Oh, man, major, because I was a musician when I met Prince. When I got into the band Grand Central, Andre Simone and Will Dowdy and some of the, other members, Terry Jackson, Linda Anderson. I was a musician, but I can't say that I was serious. I mean, I thought I was serious until I got in that band. And, Prince, once I got in, this dude wanted to rehearse every day. So, every day around 4 or 5 o'clock, man, we were in the basement rehearsing. And then when we weren't rehearsing, we were gigging. And so the conversation went from, for me, it's like I loved music, but I didn't know where it was going. But these guys, especially Prince and Andre, it wasn't if I make it, it's when I make it in this industry, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So that became my attitude. It's like, it's just a matter of time before we break through. And that was the attitude, man. And we worked hard at it.
Definitely worked hard at it. And like your charisma, like that was always a part of you, right? So you just kind of like added the music to who you already were, I would assume.
Well, I didn't know, I guess, definitely part of me, but, it was bits and pieces, we started rehearsing, the first record, I got pushed out there. We had gone through a series of lead singers. I wanted to be the drummer and it just didn't work out that way. So, Prince was like, well, you do it, man. You sing. And I was like, well, I kind of want to play the drums, So, I was like, plus, I don't know how to carry a band full time like that. He said, well, just be cool. I said, I can do that. He said, put your hand in your pocket and be cool. I said, I could do that. So if you look at the Cool video, my hand really doesn't come out of my pocket the whole video. And then, finally, when, the next video, my hand come out of my pocket, I'm doing a little more and I just kept adding to it. And I started to have fun with it. and just just the personality started to blossom.
Morris Day is letting us know there was levels to this. Started with the hand in the pocket.
Levels and layers, and we had to build it.
So who played the drums on 777 9311?
Well, that was actually a programmed beat, believe it or not. One of the few that we actually programmed. It was a stock beat in the Linn drum. I want to say the Linn 9000.
The Linn.
The original Linn. But anyway, it was stock. But then we had to, we had to program it to do all the different parts that we wanted it to do. So yeah, it was programmed.
Man, it definitely a mastermind. So now all of a sudden you're starting your career. There's Prince and the Revolution, Morris Day and the Time, and you're doing Purple Rain. When you guys are filming this, first of all, I feel like a lot of your lines, I don't even know they were scripted. I feel like it may have been you. I could be wrong. So was a lot of that scripted, or was that just you off the cuff?
No, well, it was scripted, but what they did, which was smart, was they set us down, meaning me and Jerome, because we did most of the scenes together, and they went through the script and they said, "This is what we wrote. What would you say?" And so we basically went through the whole script like that. So you could say it was scripted, but then again, it was real.
Yeah, and filming that, did you have any idea they would be so huge?
No idea.
Really?
It's like Prince one day comes up and he's like, "We're gonna do a movie." I'm like, "Okay." And so next thing I know, we're doing dance classes, we're doing acting classes, and we got directors and cinematographers coming into town, and the whole thing is starting to, and I'm like, okay, well, this shit is real, and I guess we really gonna do a movie. And so then we started doing the movie, and obviously it was a big deal. It was serious. Warner Brothers was backing it. We had the whole crew, the extras, and the locations, and all of that. So I was taking it serious, but then not too serious, what I mean? So, it was cool, but I felt like I was being more myself, and I felt like because we went through the script the way we did, it allowed me to be myself. So I think it came across a little more genuine than your normal script would,
Yeah, it definitely felt that way when it came across the big screen. So we think about you, Morris Day and the Time. We think about the group, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, success they had. Jesse Johnson, who ended up signing my boy, they moved to Minneapolis from St. Louis. He had a group called The Crash that Jesse Johnson signed. Shouts out to Dirty Muggs for that. So at some point in all of our lives, most musicians wanted to get to Minneapolis where you were. You know what I mean? Because of what you had created. How does that make you feel to know that? When I see a Bruno Mars and a Steve Lacy today, it reminds me of Morris Day and the Time.
Well, yeah, and rightfully so. I think they were properly schooled, and it was great. It's awesome to be a part of that legacy to this day. It'd be cool if Prince could be around to see what he basically created. Yeah. And but it's a real cool thing, to be a part of something, that's really bigger than what we are, as a band or as an individual. We're part of something bigger, and that's really cool.
So we're at Last Call. We have the book that's coming out. You've toured the world. You've seen the world. You've done so much. Is there anything on your list that you still want to do that you haven't done yet, Morris Day?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, because I've had the opportunity to really do a lot. And, so I'm just really right now just kind of keeping an open mind, if you will. And, wanting to explore the industry and outside the industry and see what branding's all about, explore that, and just let what's going to happen next happen.
I know that's right, my man. Well, I know you always stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. Once again, congratulations on everything. I saw you the last time here in L.A. You were actually out in Ontario at the Toyota Arena, and you were just so kind, man, and so appreciative. So I just want to say thank you for being who you are.
Hey, brother, appreciate you.
And thank you for what you've done for the music industry and for the world when it comes to that. So make sure y'all pick up the book On Time, A Princely Life in Funk, and, of course, Last Call with some dope features on there. Because we don't send out no dick pics. That's what we don't do.
Hey, we'll buy that first class ticket, but we ain't sending out them pics. No.
You already know. Morris Day, Romeo 935K. Have a blessed one. Thank you so much, man. Congratulations on everything.
Appreciate you, Romeo.
All right, take care.